As always, I am your host, Jade Green, and this is the Barrels and Business Podcast. It's my job here to bring you tangible tips and turning off my iPad that I had set up for Ken, bring you tangible tips on how to grow your business, how to scale, and how to be a better entrepreneur, but also have a bit of a laugh and a chat about all things surf and lifestyle. So after my catastrophe of a start there, Ken, welcome to the show, Ken Okazaki from Japan. He is our film man. He is surfing in urban surf in Melbourne. Not sure what he was doing down under. And his previous surf before that was on a cruise ship in a wave pool.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I loosely identify as a surfer, meaning I attempt to surf. And then, like every time I see it, I'm like, I got to do this. I go, rent all the gear, get out there. Jade, did I lose you?
Oh, I hope not.
There you are. Yeah, you're down there now.
I'm down there now?
Yeah.
What happened? This is going to be great, isn't it?
This is great. I think we're still live though, so we can roll.
Live?
We are still live.
Re-record us for the actual podcast though, because I'm not quite sure what's going on. You're telling us, Ken, Facebook?
Okay. I see something that says EOS web. Oh, there we are. There you're back.
I'm back.
Yeah.
I am back.
What
happened then was WEBCAM shut itself.
Oh no.
Isn't this epic? Because we've got we're live with the video guy. This is epic. Live with the video guy. Absolutely perfect.
There we are.
Are we back?
Now we're back. I can see and hear you, and you're moving.
Oh, this is absolutely epic. I love this.
Jade, you know what I love about this?
This is something you're going to coach people.
You know what I love about this is that you're not freaking out. It's like business. Like you go in with the best laid out plans, and you take step 1, you're doing well, and step 2, you fucking trip, and then it's what you do on step 3 or step 1.5 that's going to determine how your year is going to go, right? It's got nothing to do with sticking to a strict plan. It's got to do with making a plan and then iterating every freaking day. Kind of like surfing too, isn't it?
Yeah, and look, there's a lot like surfing. And the thing is, they say the highest performers, it's not about their ability just to get over things. Well, it is about their ability to get over things. It's how quickly they can bounce back from a fuck up and from a fail and just roll, rather than catastrophizing and wallowing in it and getting down low. So what I love about it though is you're on here to teach us how to be epic at video, and absolutely everything that could go wrong for me has gone wrong after we just talked about how amazing my setup was and I'd implemented your tips and then fucking catastrophe. So I'm going to ask you, for the sake of the actual podcasting recording, I'm just going to make sure that I've got the right mic. Yes, we've got the right mic.
Yeah, I can hear you. And it sounds
good.
We've
got the right camera.
And I'm looking for the live feed on your Facebook profile though, and because I want to share, but it's not coming up here for some reason.
That's even better. So, okay, let's...
I'll keep the window open for when it pops up.
No, we're definitely live. It's there. So on my personal profile, you should have been tagged.
Okay, so it's facebook.com/JadeAGreenAU. Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
All right. Well, it should pop up soon.
Wait, hold on. You know what it might have done? I had a problem with this the other day. Oh no, we're good. I know what was happening. My Epic team was in the back end. Have a look now. My team was in the back end adding a bio for you.
Okay. Okay, let's continue.
Okay, let's start the recording for the podcast again. Can you give us your clap for the recording?
Here we go. And we're good to go.
We are good to go. So, as I mentioned before, second time lucky for the podcast intro with Ken Okazaki from Tokyo, Japan. I'm Jade Green, your host of Barrels and Business. And the Barrels and Business show is all about bringing you tangible tips on how you can grow and scale your empire and your business. And we love to talk about all things surfing and lifestyle, because for me, you're not successful if you don't live in Blisscipline. And what is Blisscipline? Having a super strong plan, having the discipline to see the plan through, otherwise it's just a piece of paper with a load of shit on it, and being able to live your bliss, where you're happy in the now while you're working towards your ultimate future, but you're not waiting for happiness when you get there. So that's what Barrels and Business is all about. Ken is the man for video, and he's just had me doing the epic fails on video. But right now, Ken, let's get back to you telling us about your surf at Urban Surf.
Yes. So the last time I went surfing was at Urban Surf in Melbourne. The time before that was at one of these artificial wave places, like what you see on a cruise ship. I think, but every summer I give it a good attempt. You know, my friends are all surfing, so I bring my family to the beach. I rent the wetsuit. I get out there, and it's pure pressure. But you know, if all my friends are out there surfing and I'm the only one not doing, like, that's never going to happen. I'm going to give it an attempt. You know, I think I'll give it a good like 2 or 3 hours, you know, like
Wow.
catch 1 or 2 waves I'm happy with the biggest board I can find. And then I'll sit and enjoy. I love swimming, but I'll do about 2 or 3 hours of surfing. Yeah. At least once a year.
I love that. Actually, when we were talking prior to doing the show, you were like, I do a lot of, like, when I'm surfing, I actually just do a lot of sitting, not a lot of surfing. Well, any surfer will tell you, a lot of the time you do more sitting than standing, waiting. And if you live where I live and you're in with the pack, unless you hustle like a mofo, you got to wait in line. So I feel surfing is far more than just the going along the wave. It's the connection to the ocean and the being and the experience. And I think that can translate to business a lot too. Sometimes we think that business is only like when we're winning, like we're only successful entrepreneurs or business owner when we're winning, rather than when we're doing the thing that leads up to it.
That's true. You can kind of think of like, you know, when you're when you caught that wave, that's when you've just made that big sale or you had that huge event. But everything that leads up to that is, you know, like you have to, how many years of speaking experience, right? How much networking did you have to do? How much did you have to develop your skill and your craft to get to that stage? And with surfing, it's like, how many years have you practiced surfing? How much money did you spend on gear? How much did you have to, you know, practice, endure the cold or the hot or, you know, all of that to catch that wave, right? But it's all worth it because there's that wave. That makes everything worth it.
It's actually, I've been speaking about that a lot. At the moment, I'm in the middle of doing the 30-day coaching challenge with the guys from OmbiSurf. They picked 2 regulars that, you know, might have been classed as intermediate, like other people who don't surf would go, you could surf. People who surf were like, oh, fucking kooks. And they wanted to use us as case studies to get better. And it really is the reps we're doing on the land, literally in the skate bowl, and the stuff watching the TV. And I've got my Bosu here. And one of my last podcasts, you see me go ass up on the Bosu. It's all of that to learn the correct technique and to put in the reps before you get on the wave. The learning, I used to sit out there a lot and sit the majority of the time and stand very little of the time because I didn't know how to catch the wave properly. I was always in the wrong spot. I allowed guys to hustle me, like, because they, you know, paddle around me. I'd paddle too much. I didn't know where the bus stop was to just get picked up by the bus coming by. And now, just from doing the one session on the land, the difference and the amount of waves I get is ridiculous. So I think there's so much analogy we can take from any sport really, but from surfing and the reps that we can do on the land and out of the game before we get in.
Yeah, absolutely. I never thought of it that way, but yeah, absolutely, for sure. So
you're our video man.
Yeah, most people call me the video marketing guy because that's mostly what I do.
Yeah. Okay, what the fuck is video marketing? because a lot of people have different ideas. Like, you've got like the Hollywood lights and the producer running around with you and the boom operator. That's like making sick video marketing, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm just going to share a top view of my desk here. Okay. And a lot of people ask me, what is video marketing? And it gets really simple if I just draw this out. Now, if you're listening to this on a podcast, if you just have the audio, just think of a big cross, right? And on the left side, we've got $1 mark, like for cheap goods. Then you've got expensive goods, right? Or high price stuff. And on the top here, you've got familiar, things that are immediately recognizable. And then you've got unfamiliar. Now, if you look at almost every business, it can fall into one of these 4 quadrants. And this is also how you want to look at your video marketing. So let's give some examples. On the bottom left, where it's low price and unfamiliar, I think I got these the wrong way around, Jade. Thank God you're really casual about this. You. Yeah, you are. So we've got up here unfamiliar, and we've got familiar. There we go. See how we fix that?
Yeah.
I'm just flowing with you here, just rolling on the wave. So down here, we've got familiar things that are super cheap. Now, Jade, what's a discount shop in Australia that everybody knows?
Oh.
Kind of like the Walmart of Australia.
We have these things. They used to be called the $2 shop or the reject shop. There's actually a shop called the reject shop. And you go shopping at the reject shop.
Reject shop. Okay. So we got the $2 store. We got the reject shop. In the US, everybody's heard of Walmart, right?
Yeah.
And they're famous for being cheap. Now, what's going on here is when people come in to buy something at the $2 store, the reject shop, or Walmart, then everything's very familiar. You don't need anyone to explain to you that, this is a pair of jeans or this is a plastic toy. There's no sales staff. You walk in there, you look on the shelf, you know what it is. And because you don't need any explanation and it's familiar, and it's a low cost, it's easy to sell this stuff, right? So this is kind of the anything zone, right? Now, moving up here, we've got things that are unfamiliar and cost a little bit of money. Now, right now I sell a course, it's $37. And with 90 seconds of education, that means a 90-second video ad, I could sell a $37 course with no human interaction. So it's a small amount of money and it's unfamiliar, but it's a $37 course. People are willing to part with a little bit of money, even if it's unfamiliar, with a little bit of education. Now, I've seen these ads all the time. You've probably seen them too. These, you got these like $90 iPhone cases, maybe. You see these guys, they put their phone inside of a case, they throw it off a bridge and they pick it up and say, look, it's not broken, right? And then people go buy that. That's education. You're educating people. You're demonstrating what is special about it. Therefore, oops, that's the wrong one. Therefore, people are willing to spend a little bit of money, less than $100. So we've got cheap and unfamiliar. We've got cheap and familiar. Now, if we go down here where we want to charge a high price, right? Because that's where everybody wants to go, right? You want to move from here all the way over here. I mean, everybody wants to go on this side, right? And if it's really familiar, and Jade, you've gone to some events and stuff, right?
A few.
Have you heard of this dude that's really tall and he's got big teeth and he's American? He claps like yeah. So if you're that guy, if you're TR, you're a familiar face in the market, you could charge a high price. And this is a brand move, right? If you have the brand, like for example, Chanel, if they put out a new handbag, people will buy it. If you're Apple and you put out a new iPhone, all they have to say is iPhone 13. Everybody's going to line up to buy it because it's a really familiar brand and you can charge a lot because it's a brand move. Now, what's up here? Unfamiliar, high price. This is the professional zone. This is professionals. That means professional services. So if you want to charge a high price and get premium services or sell premium services, and maybe you're a coach, right? Maybe you're a consultant. Maybe you are a doctor, lawyer, accountant. What's that?
A recruiter.
Recruiter, definitely recruiter. And what happens here is if it's unfamiliar and you want to charge premium prices, you got to educate people a lot around this zone. So we got these 4 different zones, and I just want to find out. And if you're watching the video, follow along. But on the bottom left, I'm putting an A. Top left, so this is the $2 store, reject shop, Walmart, putting an A there, okay? And I'm putting a B where things are unfamiliar and low cost, like $37 courses, $90 iPhone cases, and things that are high priced and familiar, like Tony Robbins, Chanel, iPhone. I'm putting a D here, and then a C for professionals, coaches, consultants, recruiters, doctors, lawyers, accountants. Now, Jade, if you were to guess, and I don't know if anyone's participating right now, but if you were to guess, the people who watch your show, where do you think they would be? Or where would you be in this?
I'm definitely a C.
Right? That's what I thought. So, and probably a lot of your audience is or wants to be there, right?
Yeah. Like I think over there can even be some of our other services like hairdressers, plumbers, hydraulics. Like we've got clients that are hydraulics training organizations, any training businesses.
Training, that's right. Let's put training there. Now, how does this relate to video marketing? And the thing is that video marketing is a really broad spectrum. And if you make video and it's going to help you with marketing, technically that's video marketing. But an easy way to remember, and I'm kind of trying to uncomplicate things for everybody, is if you take just these 4 cards, right? This is really easy to remember. If you are in this zone, if you're trying to compete for price, right? Then you want to be a jack. That's a jack of all trades. You sell everything, you're good at, you sell a little bit of everything or anything, but you're not the best at anything. So your message on video needs to be cheap prices, reasonable quality, or cheapest prices, reasonable quality. And that's your message on video. You should have, or it doesn't even have to be a video. That's a message that's going to attract people if you are in the A type of business. Now, if you're moving up into the B type, where it's unfamiliar and cheap, then this is actually an ace, kind of like an ace in the hole. You know, like when it's a one-step move. And what that means is that you can make one video that's a 90-second bit of education and sell a $37 course and a $90 iPhone case. You don't need a fancy funnel. You don't need anything more than one step. They see one video and they'll make one purchase. It's really simple. The profits are not going to be incredibly high because it's a very competitive space. It's competitive because everybody's in here. But with 90 seconds of education, you can sell stuff and turn a profit. Not a huge profit, but a profit. Now, down here,
yeah,
you can be what?
Or that could be used as part of your lead funnel.
Absolutely, you can. Now you're talking really advanced stuff, but we'll get there.
Jumping ahead too far.
All good. Now down here, Tony Robbins, Chanel, iPhone, high price, familiar. Again, this is also an ace because they've done so much work to build their brand that all they have to say is, hey, I'm coming to town. 5,000 people show up. All they have to do is say, hey, this is the 2021 lineup. Boom, sold out. Hey, this is the iPhone 13 or 18 or 21. Everybody's going to line up and buy it. Again, they just have to make an announcement. People show up because they've done the work. They put in the time. Up here, though, this is where a lot of my audience is too. And people like you, Jade, people like your audience, professionals, coaches, consultants, doctors, lawyers, accountants. If you want to charge a high price, and when I say high price, it means it's anywhere between $1,000 to, let's say, $10,000 a day for your time. And your product or service is a little bit complicated and therefore needs a lot of explanation, then content is king. Every piece of content you put on video, it has to educate the audience. And if you don't educate people in a way that's going to bring them closer to wanting to buy your services, then you're going to have a really, really hard time with video marketing. So you got to think, where are you right now? And then depending on where you are, you need to know the message to put on video, whether it's, hey, I'm in town, or here's how this thing works, 90 seconds, buy now, or cheap price, jump on it, or this is how what we do works. And this is how it's going to improve your life. not buy now.
Would you say with saying content is king, is this about building know, like, and trust over time?
That's right. Know, like, and trust is important, but I'd like to take it one step further. Know, like, trust, and when I say content is king, the way I define this is you've got to release the person watching. If they're not releasing dopamine into their bloodstream, if you don't give them an aha moment, like they just had an opening, then they'll know, like, and trust you, but they won't be interested. They won't get addicted, right? It's know, like, trust plus an aha. That is the thing that's going to get people coming back for more. It's that hit, you know? If you don't give them the aha moments, you'll be like the friendly cousin who it's nice to hang out with, but you know, it gets kind of familiar and it could fade off, right? But you want to be the person that they actually wait for, they crave for you to go live or for you to put out your next episode because your stuff's so good.
I love it. If I had this StreamYard going, or what is it, Streamlines that you gave me before, I would have drawn a little light bulb above my head. Like I'm always teaching to lead with value, and I always want my content to lead with value. I intersplice it with a bit of, hey, this is just me doing my thing. Mm-hmm. But I think if you take it that next step, it's like the aha moment or the pause, or that's the key you're looking for. How, like, if you're consultant, coach, any one of the other services we talked about, how much of your content needs to be aha moments? Like, what's the ratio in terms of this is me doing my thing? Like, is it personal brand? Are we only talking about our business brand? What are we talking here? So,
you know, I know this is kind of supposed to be an interview, right? I can answer that question directly, but it'll be boring. But if I explain it in a way where I actually teach you something, can I actually teach like a 20-minute piece here? Is that cool?
Look,
because
I know it's supposed to be an interview, but it's also supposed to be whatever gives value to the people. So if you're willing to teach us something for free, I'm going to just graciously take it. Just give it to us.
Yeah, no, this is the stuff I actually give to, when I was traveling, people would pay me like $41,000 per day to go out there and shoot their videos. And they weren't paying for someone to hold a camera and hit record, because you could get that for $500 a day, right? Yeah. They're paying for someone to help give them a strategy around making a video that's going to put 10,000 people in a room next month. That's what they're paying for. Now, what a videographer can do is bring lights, a video camera, mic, and then hit record, stand there and say, okay, are you done? Okay, right? That's what a regular videographer. What most people don't understand is that content is a paint by numbers system. It's not having to, if you're constantly having to be creative, you will burn out. You will burn out. If you're the content creator and the performer and the editor and the curator and the researcher, you will burn out. Have you watched that famous TV show Friends, from way back?
I've seen it once or twice.
Yeah, once or twice. Do you know how many writers they had on that? I mean, it's known as the most successful like TV show, series in the world. But they had something like 27 full-time screenwriters. 27. Oh. And they'd put out an episode a month, I believe, or maybe a couple a month. But that's how much work it takes to put out high quality content for a long period of time. That's how many professional full-time writers. So don't be hard on yourself if you get in front of a camera and you freeze up, or you feel like, damn, I don't know if I was cut out for this, because you weren't cut out to do everything. But I found a way to make it really, really simple to take your big ideas and compress them and organize them into a social media friendly format. So if you like, I can show you that right now.
Yes, please.
Okay.
And if anyone's
but before I jump into it, like, do you have a question? Like, do you have any questions you want me to cover?
Well, I think the core thing is there's lots of people, they know they need to do video. Like I do video, right? Everyone sees me do video, but I know I need to do better at it. I don't have a formula. It kind of freaks me out. But a lot of people and a lot of my clients are like, I don't have the personality. I'm not you. I'm not made for video. I've got a head for radio. Or like, they're like, where do I even start? It just seems so overwhelming to get started. Like, they know that that's the thing to do. The dirty reps are the thing to do. Get online, show up, people by people, especially if it's coaching, consulting, training, even doctors, like people aren't buying the service, they're buying you.
That's right.
That's right. Like that's what's going to get them across the line. So they know that, but it's like, I don't have lights. I don't have cameras. I don't have everything. So if you can just like give us the where to get started version and like the simple way for someone could start tomorrow to start putting out video marketing.
Okay. So this is actually a part of my paid course, but I'm going to give this to your audience for free. And
I love you.
Because I like you. And because you look really freaking cool. You got the beach like right outside your window. Like, how could you compete with that?
It's
like
crazy.
I've got LED lights, right? You've got a beach. I've got both. You've got a beach.
In our coaching program, everyone's frothing over your red and blue LED lights. And I seriously had background envy. And then everyone else was
you have a beach. Like, you can't compete with that.
That's it. Bring in the beach.
Yeah. All right. So basically, I'm going to show you something, but when you see this, I'm going to warn you, it's going to be like that moment in The Matrix where Neo, remember when he could see the world for what it really was? And there was all these green, like everything was different, right? Uh-huh. He started seeing patterns. And in the same way, you're going to see that there's a lot of people who are my clients, they use the same format and a lot of people have copied it. And so you're going to see this pattern a lot because a lot of people use it. And
because it works.
It works really well. So let me see if I could share my iPad screen. It's called the HILDA content system. Okay. I just pulled up my slide deck from my internal content. All right. You ready for this?
I didn't know that was yours. I knew about it. I've heard about it.
Oh, yeah, that's mine.
Yeah.
So here's the old way, right? The old way of making videos, like you think of a topic to talk about, write down a few bullet points, you hit record on your camera, start talking, run out of stuff to talk about, and then stop. Sound familiar? like how many times have we all done this, right? Like all the time. That's pretty much me in front of a camera, right? So what if there was a better way? And that better way is HILDA. So HILDA is pretty much hook them in. You got about 3 seconds. Introduce yourself, 4 seconds for that. Lead their anticipation. I'll explain what that means in just a second. Deliver some dopamine into their bloodstream, and then ask for the right thing. Now, I love systems, and this is a 5-point system, but in each of these 5 points, there is a system within. Now, it looks like this. You want to start by addressing a frustration. Here's one idea. For example, in your space, you mentioned, let's say you're a surf instructor, Jade, which you kind of are, surfing business, right? And what's a frustration that a frustration might be? Isn't it frustrating when, you're ready for your first surf lesson, you squeeze into the wetsuit, you paddle out there, and every time you think the wave is coming and you start paddling, you realize it's just a swell. And then when the real wave does come, you miss it. Isn't that frustrating? Now, for somebody who's just learning, they'll probably be like, yeah, I just experienced that the last time. And they're hooked. They want to know what is going on, right? What's the right way to do it? Address the frustration. Ask a question. Something like, hey, when's the last time you caught the wave of your dreams? Now they go internal. Instead of judging you, they're thinking internal. So all of a sudden, it's a completely different narrative. Use numbers. You want to engage the left side and the right side of the brain. So if you say 3 tips or 5 strategies, things like that, all of a sudden, left brain is engaged. You're locked in. Both sides of the brain are aligned. You got them. Tease value. Just tell them what you're going to share. Hey, I'm going to show you 3 tips to catch the wave. Catch waves without, how about this? Tease value. I'm going to share with you the 3 best surf spots on the east coast of Australia that are not overcrowded with tourists. Like, whoa, people are going to get into that, right? So these are some interesting ideas for how to hook people at the beginning. And the mindset is this: you want to get in, get out, get them hooked. Like this has to be fast because you have 3 seconds, and that's how long it takes for people to decide if they're going to watch or not watch. That's it, 3 seconds. Now, after you hook them in, you earn the right to introduce yourself. And there's a formula: first name plus business title. Hi, my name is Ken, CEO of Oz Media Global, or first name plus who you help and how. Hi, my name is Ken. I help business leaders to get leads and sales with video. Or known for. What's an accomplishment? Are you an author or something? I might say, hi, my name is Ken. People know me as the video marketing guy. Really simple, casual. What you don't want to do is stack these. You just want to pick one of those three things, because the more you talk about yourself, the more likely they are to leave. It's the truth. I study the graphs on the engagement. You know, on Facebook, you can see when people drop off, like you see this graph that's just kind of trends down. It's kind of depressing, right? But there's two things I look for. I know that they always trend down somehow, but I look for cliffs and I look for plateaus. Cliffs are when there's a mass exodus and everybody's leaving your video because you're boring. And then there's plateaus where what you're doing is magical and people are hanging out for a long time. And almost always when I identify a cliff, I look at what happened in that video that caused everybody to leave. And most of the time is when people are talking about themselves. I shared the stage with so-and-so, I helped impacted this many million lives. Have you ever spoken live on a big stage? I've seen photos of you on a big stage, right?
Yeah.
Right? So I've done a lot of stage speakings too. And here's the thing I realized. When people are there talking about all their accomplishments, I think that the reason people aren't leaving is because it's too much work. Like they got to stand up, pick up their books and their jacket, and then walk in front of everybody else all the way to the back of the room. And it's embarrassing, right?
Yeah.
It's too much effort. But I think that everybody actually wants to leave. But nowadays on your phone, people just have to move like 1/4 of a centimeter and they're gone. So I realized that human behavior is actually like the more you talk about yourself, the less people are interested in you. It's true.
Yeah.
So that's why this part has to be short. And the key words here are
just touch on that for a second, Ken, because I do see people think they're not talking to themselves out of ego. They're talking about themselves out of justification. Like they feel like they need to social proof or prove to the audience that they're good enough to be listened to or they're worthy. How do you get someone over that fact? Just basically don't fucking do it because it's boring.
Well, here's how I see it. If you give them that aha moment, the dopamine hit, that's the reason they'll come back. And that's the reason they'll continue watching, not because of what you claim you accomplished. Because let's say you actually did accomplish all those things and it's 100% true. Who cares? That was in the past, right? Unless it's something applicable to what you're about to say. If I say something like, hey, my name is Ken, and I hold the Guinness World Record for climbing Mount Everest and back. And today I'm going to show you 3 tips on climbing mountains. That's relevant. Of course, I never climbed Mount Everest, right? Like, if it's relevant to the content, go ahead, share that. If it's not relevant to what you're about to share, leave it. People, when they fall in love with you, they will research you. They'll dig up stuff. They'll find you. And it happens organically. If you push it, then people push back.
Yeah, and I think the evidence that you are worth listening to comes in the aha moment. Like, it just makes sense.
Absolutely. It's true.
Give them value. They don't really care where it came from as long as it works. Yeah,
that's 100% true. All right, so we've hooked them in. We've introduced ourselves. Now this is the part that's a bit more science than art, is when we have to lead their anticipation. So there's a few ways we can do this. We can poke their fear, remind them that there's something that they're actually seriously concerned about, and they should be. Build importance, just tell them what you're about to say is important. Create curiosity, or tell a story that's relevant to what you're about to share. And the 3 keywords here are curiosity, context, concern. You got to make them curious about what's coming next, give context about what's coming next, or let them feel really concerned about something. And if you have time, I'll actually do a live demo with you. I'll build one out with you. This is gonna be fun.
We will make time, Ken. We will make time for that.
Okay. Now, the part, this is where we're just getting them all like, we got the rubber band around the arm, getting ready to inject some dopamine. Okay. Right. So now they're all prepped. Now, this is where we actually deliver the dopamine. And the way we do this, there's a couple formats, cause and effect. Now, I like to use the analogy of the weight loss industry because everybody's seen these ads, right? Everybody, knows a friend or is somebody who's struggled with weight at some point. So some examples could be, you know what, the reason why you're struggling to take off those last 5 kilograms is because you're not getting enough sleep. You know, you're doing all the right things, but you're not getting enough sleep. And that's what you have to fix. Cause effect, not enough sleep, too much weight. And that's one way you could frame it. Here's something else, common misconception. Most people think that as long as you burn more calories than you take in, then you'll automatically lose weight. That is a major misconception. And what I want to tell you is blank. Tell them the truth, right? Transfer of blame or guilt. Jay, do you know someone named Robert Kiyosaki? Ever hear of him?
I heard of him, yes.
Yeah, and he's probably one of the most famous like business authors around. And he wrote a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He built his entire industry and career around transferring blame from someone's shoulders and placing it onto a third party. He said, you know what? If you're poor, if you suck at money, it's not your fault. It's the government's fault. They created an education system to keep you poor. And it worked. People were like, I like you, Robert. Now I'm going to listen to you. And in the same way, you could say something to the effect of, you know what? If you're struggling with weight, it's not your fault. It's probably your genetics. You know, you're eating all the right foods, you're exercising like crazy, but your genetics have shaped you different ways. And this is actually the right weight for you. Or you could say it's processed food. There's nothing you could do about it. Now, they feel like, hey, I want to listen to this person because they're making me feel good about myself. So those are a couple of ideas how you can, you know, just imagine like they're wearing this heavy backpack and you're lifting it off their back, putting it somewhere else. Like you're going to love that person, right?
Yeah. Unless you're into extreme ownership and like you've like chomped down on Jocko.
Yeah, it's a little twist there.
But that's people definitely going to buy that for sure. Like if you're easing their burden and you're making them feel better, they're gonna come running back. Absolutely.
Now there's one last one. This one's a little bit controversial. It's create a binary or polarizing point of view, POV, point of view. And you might say something like, you know what? If you've been struggling to take off those last 5 kilograms, here's what I want to say. Forget it. Instead, put 15 more on because fat is the new cool. Fat is the new sexy. And screw all those skinny, fit-looking people. Now, is it a good idea if that's not what you believe? Of course not. But if you can make a stand in, like, what's going to happen is you're going to get a reaction. Some people are going to love you. Some people are going to hate you. But you'll know exactly who your tribe is. But whatever you say, make sure it's true to you, what you actually believe. Because whatever you put online never goes away.
Who would you say is like an expert in polarization? Who do you see?
Oh, I don't want to get into politics. Is that what you're trying to bait me? You're trying to get me to talk about politics?
No. The one that comes to mind for me is Gary Vee.
Oh, okay. Yeah. He's very polarizing.
Yeah, I think he's totally polarizing. When I teach 10 tips to building a powerful personal brand, one of my tips is being willing to polarize, and it's a picture of Gary Vee because he really just doesn't give a fuck. He believes what he believes, and I kind of link it to what Seth Godin says. Another tip of mine in there is like, cut the crap. Like, stop trying to please everybody. You just want your people. It's so much easier when your people are coming to you because they've already nodded their head and gone, yeah, you're my people, I'm your people. It just makes it so much easier. So I do love the polarizing strategy for that. And I've been told that sometimes, my probably natural strategy is to go polarize.
Yeah, I can see that. A little bit of Pink. You know the artist Pink?
Yeah.
Yeah, she has a song about starting a fight or something. I love that song, but I don't know. I think that you would totally rock that song if it came on the radio. You'd rock out to that one.
I literally had that stuck in my head just last week, and I couldn't get it out of my head.
Now it's stuck in your head again, isn't it?
And now it's gonna be straight after this, I'm gonna have that on. Like, what?
Oh yeah, so what? That's the name of the song. I love that song. So what? I'm a rock star. Yeah, got my rock shoes. Yeah, okay.
I feel like I'm channeling my Pink today. And I had pink hair for
a little
a
bit.
lot of COVID too.
You need to like roll up your sleeves a little bit more to show your shoulders, and then
It's really, it's my audience will be like, "What's going on? She's wearing clothes." You probably see me on the black belt course, Kenna. It's very rare for me to have sleeves, or it's I normally have the guns out.
there you go. Yeah, that's you got the vibe for sure right now.
Okay, so how do you put this into practice? What's the next step?
So when we wrap this up, then there's just one last thing to do. When we deliver, you want to think educate, edify, entertain. Now, at the very end, there's a simple formula, how to ask someone to do something. Who plus context plus action. And it looks a little something like this. You, friend, colleague, boss, needs to watch this, hear this, agrees with this, has this problem, would like this, and share, tag, comment, or click below. And you just think who, why, what. Pick one word or one item from each of these columns. So at the end, you might say something like, hey, by the way, if you like this video and you would like this list of 5 tips to lose weight without having to diet, which I have right here, then what you want to do is comment yes down below and I'll send it to you for free. Then you get engagement. You can pick any one of these 3 things and match them up. In your case, Jade, it might be, hey, if you agree with what I just said in this video, then do me a favor and share it with one of your friends and maybe they'll agree with it too. This is a really, really simple, non-douchey, non-pushy way to get people to engage. And you just pick one from each column, spill it out there, and that's how it works. It's super simple.
I love that. And I'm kind of forward slapping myself because I think nearly all of my call to actions for engagement is like comment below or DM me, or like I don't get into, with the podcast, we say share a bit more if you feel like you've got some tips, but I really love having a few different tools of what you can do to drive the engagement up. And more importantly, because if you're actually adding value, like there is aha moments, how you can give some free tips to more people and have a bigger impact.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And you give them a reason, right? Like what I would say sometimes is, excuse me, I got something in my throat. What I would say is, look, if this video spoke to you and you know that it's useful information for a business owner and you have a friend who's a business owner and struggling in this area, then do this for them. They might not listen to you, but if you share this video with them and they watch this video, it might impact their business. It might impact their business, meaning that their family, meaning the employees, meaning everybody who's involved or affected, the vendors, the suppliers, the customers of that business will all be affected because you helped just put a ripple in the pond by sharing this video. Do this for them. Now, by saying something like that,
I don't know what to share, but I'm pressing share right now.
And all of a sudden it's altruistic. The altruism that is injected into the ask carries so much weight and gets people to stop thinking about, well, if you say like, help me get to, 1 million subscribers or whatever, some people might do it, but they have to already be a fan because they're doing it for you. That's level 1. Level 2 is do it for you. Like click below to get this thing, right? That's for you. Now, doing it for a third party, that's altruism. And altruism is more powerful than the other 2 things combined. If you pull it off with sincerity, people respond to that stuff.
Yeah. I instantly, maybe because of my personality type, my profile is to want to jump in and to serve. I'd already be thinking, I was hooked. I don't know what we're selling. I don't know what we're sharing, but it feels so helpful. I want to help somebody. Who can I help?
Yeah, that's exactly what happens. And we all, as humans, that's our instinct, is we'll do more for others than we will for ourselves. Like any day of the week, we're servants by nature. We want to help, and we just don't have enough opportunity to where people obviously need help. So you have to set up that situation where people feel like they're a part of a movement, a part of a cause, and then they will respond.
I love it. How often should someone be putting out content like this?
That's a really good question, because I think it's different for each person. But here's how I see it, is especially if you don't feel comfortable in front of the camera, kind of think of yourself as having signed up for the marathon, right? It's 6 months away, right? Now, when do you start practicing and training for the marathon? A lot of people, they treat business and content creation as if they started training the day before the marathon. They expect to win, right? They go buy the shoes, they go watch a few YouTube videos and all the gear. They get registered and they put everything in the closet. And then the day before, they put everything on. They practice like crazy for one day, and then they expect to crush it in the marathon. Now, here's the thing. I've had people come to me and say, like, okay, I got my web page ready. I got my funnels. I got everything. And then we're going to do the launch in 6 months. So I'm going to start making video and promoting it a week before. I'm like, like in the marathon, what you'd do is you'd start training right away. And you might find, oh, I got the wrong type of shoes. You got to change that out. You're going to get injury. You got to change that out. You got to get some coaching around your stride. So if you're starting out, I think your 100th video is going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
That's how I see it. And each video, you're not looking for perfection. You're looking for, how can I be 1% better than my previous video? That's all. 1% better. Because I don't know if the math actually works, but motivationally, this works for me, is if you get 1% better over the course of 100 videos, you're at 100%. But all you have to think is 1% better than my previous video. Then it gets easy. And there's not this pressure of having to get it perfect each time. You just got to be 1% better and put it out until you feel confident. Keep putting out video until you start getting responses and engagement. And when you're getting engagement organically, when your videos are getting shared without you asking or without having to be douchey or pay for it, or when people are commenting while you're live, then you know that, hey, I'm onto something. And that would be a good time to start channeling people into a sales system, and you'll get so much free traffic and therefore revenue.
I love that. I just over 3 years ago, I was literally the most awkward person you've ever seen on video. My ex-husband was a photographer. He refused to take my photos. I was that bad. And this is from someone who owned a modeling and promotional agency like 21 years ago. He would just like, why are you so retarded? I can't even take your photo. Like, go get another photographer to do your headshots. I'm like, wow. Like, I had to do videos with the Entourage when they invested in my last firm. And I threw up in a plant. Jack Delos is like tickling me under the table, trying to make me less awkward. It's just hideous. And he said, before the next board meeting, you're just going to go on Snapchat every fucking day. Every day, you're getting on Snapchat and you're going live. And I'm like, I don't have Snapchat. He's like, excellent. You'll have one follower, me. He's like, and you're just going to get on there and you're just going to do it until you are less weird. And I think that was the best advice I ever got. And just the practice. And I used to completely freak out. But you saw the beginning of this episode was a complete disaster. Usually I just go into meltdown, go, Ken, let's just delete that off live, get rid of it, and we'll start again in a minute and people won't ever know. But now you can just ease with it. What's your thoughts though on practicing via going live rather than, I have a whole weird thing about just talking to a camera, like just can't do it. I haven't got there yet. What's your take on live versus recording?
There's a few ways to go about it, but I recommend that if you know in your side that you're sensitive and that hate comments are gonna set you back, then find a group of friends that support you or are going through the same journey together. Share it among your friends, recorded videos, and get their feedback. And they'll give you pointers to improve. And once you have a certain level of confidence that you know that you're not going to vomit and then go hide in your basement and never get online again and physically cut all the cables in your house so that nobody will ever find you. Like if you think that that's a risk, then do recorded stuff first. If live, like having a conversation with people is more exciting to you, then do that. Do what excites you more. For me, I've only started going live just a couple months ago. It's quite new to me actually. And I used to only do recorded. And I found that when I'm live, I actually come alive a bit more because I see people who I love, my friends. They're like, hey, let's, like I just have a chat with
Like
them.
me
And
the other night, how we ended up here.
yeah, exactly.
I just saw, I don't troll or scroll on Facebook that much, but I had it open to let one of my team in, and I saw that you were live, and I was like, oh, Ken, I miss Ken. And then I was like, holy shit, what is he doing to his screen? How's he drawing on there? What's happening? And obviously I commented, and then it led to this. So I think that's a really powerful example of how a live can work, because people get notified that you're live. And if you're doing something cool like you were doing, then people hang around. Like I hung around pretty much for the whole thing until I went to look for your direct message that I'd clearly missed before that. But
No worries.
that's so unlike me to do. And I think that's the power of personality. And building that, well, can you just share some of the things that you were doing?
Yeah. You mean like I was just kind of drawing on my screen, stuff like, pointing at myself, saying, hey, click below. Maybe you just gave me a good idea earlier about how do I draw a light bulb? How does that work? Like that. Yeah. There we are. Yeah. I was just showing how to do these tricks on your phone. on your iPad without having to pay for any expensive software. And Jade kind of got lit up about that. So we had a conversation.
Yeah, I thought that was just so cool. And what's even cooler is, because I do leave things to the last minute, and then I was like, oh my God, that was so cool. And I've been meaning to do it. I did it. I think it got to about 30 minutes before we were due to do this live. And I was like, I want to see if I can make the stuff work. So I literally downloaded all the things. I watched your training, your Loom. I downloaded the green screen. I had to Google how to connect my iPad to my computer, which I've been meaning to do for the entirety of COVID, and hadn't had the motivation to do it because it seemed like it was going to be so hard. And you're like, oh, just do this. And I'm like, oh, wow. Okay. The other thing that I was laughing when you were saying, you buy all the stuff, you put it in the cupboard and you wait for the big moment.
Yeah.
I present to you the Elgato Stream Deck. But obviously, every coach and entrepreneur that was going live during COVID scoured the earth sold their firstborn to get. Yeah, hasn't been out of the box yet. That's for the next live stream. But I'm sure you can teach me how to make that work super quick too. Is that how you're controlling all of your stuff? Yeah,
I got one of these hooked up here. And yeah, it's cool because, let's see if I get on the screen. You can actually see the thumbnails for like what the screen, let me get this glare off of there. I can see a preview of what's on each screen. And there you go. And that's how I'm able to switch stuff around. Like you saw the top view here, right? Yeah. You could see this camera. You can see my slide deck. Oops, that's the wrong one. I could put stuff on the screen. Like I do this for, I'm like, hey guys, make sure you can see all the way to the edges because I'm going to put up some graphs, and sometimes the edge gets cropped if you're on an iPhone or something. So it's pretty cool. And it gives people more of an experience.
What's super cool about it is it's actually not hard to do. I got myself into a test thinking I just wouldn't be able to figure it out. And I'm like, how am I going to do this? This is all too hard. And your looms were just so basic on how to do it. So I think that you don't need to have, like, to get started, you don't need to have all this fancy stuff.
No.
But if you're already comfortable doing videos, like I challenge you now to take it up the next step, like to apply HILDA and to go, okay, well, what else is one little cool thing? Like maybe every 10 videos, you take it up a step.
Well, Jade, I get asked this question all the time. It's like, what camera should I get? What gear? What light? What mic? And here's my answer. And I think you're gonna like this. You don't buy equipment to make videos for video marketing. What you do is whatever you have with you, whether it's your phone or your webcam, use what you have, get good at storytelling and performing using HILDA or something like it. And when you get leads and sales, use the money from that to upgrade your gear. Like the gear is a reward for making money with video, not the prerequisite. You gotta get your mindset fixed around that. Make some money and then use that money to buy the gear. It's got to be that way. Otherwise, you will stack up so much gear, and that your bank balance is going down while your closet's getting fuller, and that's not what's supposed to happen.
I love that. With the Wetsuit CEO guys, we do risk and reward, and so you've got to hit similar to what we do at the intensives, Ken, in terms of like what's the consequence and what's the reward. So I'd say to people, until you've done 100 videos or whatever your metric is, and until you're getting engagement, until you've got a sale, then you're not allowed to buy that next piece of fancy shit, because you haven't actually dialed in the most important thing, which is the connection and the message, right?
Yeah.
Because
absolutely,
douchebags still look like douchebags on great camera. They actually probably look like bigger douchebags if they've got all of the shit and they're just standing there talking about themselves, right?
Yeah. When people tell me like, I'm making so many videos and how do I get more views or more engagement? And it's hard to say it to their face, but the answer is this: make better fucking content. It's that simple.
Camera? It's not buy a better camera.
It's always make better content. And people are looking for a trick or a shortcut. I'm like, there are no shortcuts or tricks to giving people value. Like, you help people by actually helping people. It's that simple.
And if you help people, they'll want to buy you.
Exactly. And the way you help people is just with aha moments. You don't give them a full training. Like I give a bit more than I usually do here because Jade, I like you a lot and I know that you're going to go far with this, but you give them an aha moment where they think, oh, I never thought of it that way. And then because you're the person who gave them that opening, they feel like they're indebted to you. And they'll come back and then you give them more and more. And I actually literally I've had people come to me and say, Ken, where can I actually pay money to work with you more? Yeah. I didn't make any offer. They came to me. So that's what you want to do. And I don't give away strategies for free very much. It's mostly aha moments. You give aha moments and gain their interest, then they want to give you money. That's how it works.
I love that. And it reminds me the fact that I didn't have a website for the last 4 years or a landing page or anything, and still managed to have clients and travel the world, do awesome things. People don't, like you were saying before, they're like, oh, I built the website, I built the funnel, I did all these things. But they can literally, if they're putting out the right content and adding value and have the aha, they can already start making sales, right? They don't need to wait until they've spent thousands on websites or doing all of this stuff, do they?
No, not at all. Just start. And I got this book here. I'm just going through it. 0 to 1. Like 1 is infinitely more valuable than 0. Infinitely more valuable. So if you didn't put out a video today and you put one out, then it's infinitely greater than where you currently are right now.
Yeah. It's so funny because literally on the Website CEO call, I was talking to one of our clients about 0 to 1. And when you think about many ways that this could be applied, when you're in a car doing 0 kilometers, it's the first mile, the first kilometer that counts on the speedo, right? Because once you're rolling, you can start to gather speed, you can start to turn. But when you're at dead stop, you can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
And if you start thinking about the power of zeros, when you get your first follower, great. Then you stack it, your first 100, then your first 1,000. It's like when you stack those ones, it's when you get the momentum. Yeah,
100%. Absolutely. Sometimes I say your first video is like first gear on your car. If you're old enough to remember those, it's not driving speed. It's just brake inertia speed. All you're doing is fighting inertia to just get the wheels rolling. And what do? You as quickly as possible shift into second, and then third, and then fourth. And there's no way in hell you can make it on the highway in first gear. You're going to be in fourth, fifth, or sixth gear. So the first video is just to pull out of the driveway. That's it. And then you're moving.
You're just gonna get moving. So you don't need a fancy editing team. You don't need to cut and splice. You don't need all of the things, do you?
I think the easiest way is just hit the live button. I actually do recommend that, actually. like the recorded videos, you might second guess yourself. Like you record it, it's like, I don't feel like uploading. Or you try to upload it and it fails, like, I don't want to try again, Like any little obstacle is going to get in your way. But if you hit live, then you're just like, oh, stay, game face,
I cannot do okay, I'm going to reprogram myself. I can do. I will do. But for me, I feel super awkward. And I think the perfectionism kicks in when I'm recording something. I'm like, oh, if I'm recording it must be a really important video to me. And I must, they're going to expect it to be great because it's just me on camera. And so it's got to be polished and I can't fuck up and all of the things need to be right. And then if I forget a word or I didn't give one of the points that I wanted to give, then I get frozen. I'm like, I'll go back and do it again and go back and do it again. And then every time it's just like paralysis by analysis going on.
Yeah.
Whereas if I hit live, I feel like it gives me the permission just to be raw and authentically me as well. And like that could be a real misconception of me. Other people might be like, no, you should actually just do better. But I feel like maybe because I give other people, I don't have the right slack, wiggle room. If they're live, yeah, I'm more forgiving on them.
Yeah.
And I think, that you're just having a crack. So as long as you're giving value, yeah, I find the whole recorded situation just, I don't know, I can't do it. I can do it. I can't do it. Trying to re-script myself.
Well, why do you need to record? You don't.
What do you mean?
Like you said that you don't do well when you're recording. So why ever record? What's the point?
I think like when we're trying to do, I don't know, your videos for advertisements or the I now just
Nate, I'm gonna give you a tip right now, okay, about those. Okay. So here's what you do. When you are okay, let's say that you gotta do an ad, right? So you're gonna, if this is a camera, right? And this is Jade here. Does Jade wear a dress or pants? I'm not sure, right?
She'll wear a skirt.
Okay. Is that a skirt?
That's a
like,
skirt. You
like
that?
that?
That's fine.
Okay.
That's good.
Yeah, okay. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna hook this up to a laptop, right? With a wire, right? And on the other side, you've got somebody who's actually watching on Zoom, and you're actually gonna be recording everything on eCam, and it's gonna be wirelessly transmitting. So you're actually, in your mind, let's put a thought bubble here, you're thinking about this guy. You're talking to him. But you're being recorded by the camera. So what I'm saying is you do a Zoom call with somebody, let's say like, for example, me, and you're talking straight to me, but you're recording in eCam on your computer.
Yes.
Then you get the best of both worlds. So I'm gonna be like, Jade, give it to me. Give me your sales pitch. I got the script here with me. So the first sentence is, hey guys, today we're gonna talk about X, Y, Z, and D. All right, you ready for that? All right, 3, 2, 1, and then you give it to me. And then I just walk you through that script. It's so easy.
Is this what you do as your virtual director thing? Like,
yeah, sometimes I do that.
I know that you do the magic thing where you're kind of directing the talent. Is that how you're doing it?
Yeah, I get them to talk to me. We have a conversation. And then on this end, I'm just hitting record. Actually, you're recording everything on your end. And then that gets sent to my editors and they find all the great parts and stitch them together and make it seamless.
Genius.
So having a director makes a world of difference, especially if you tend to get in your head. You'd be surprised the crazy shit I got to pull off sometimes to get my clients out of their heads. Like I've actually had to bring alcohol on set a few times. I've had them like literally like do a back bend and yell as loud as they can, and until they turn red in the face so they could get out of their freaking head and then perform. Like there's just all kinds of stuff that just gets in there when there's pressure, right?
Oh my gosh. I literally saw a memory pop up the other day on Facebook of a video that I was doing for Cub Business Club. And Cub Business Club here is one of the biggest entrepreneur clubs, and it was when they were first starting, and I had to interview the founder for their recruitment drive, and the barman was just bringing me straight gins. I'm like, and there's a pan back shot, and you can see the gin glasses at my feet. I'm like throwing these things back just to get through it. I said to my coach said to me the other day, the surf coach, he's like, I can see your brain thinking. I can literally see it thinking, what do we need to do? I said, I think beer is the answer. I feel like 2 beers before I hit the ramp could be the key. It's like, what can you do? What's some other tools? If someone's gonna do it on their own, or they're gonna have a friend direct them, what else you get them to do? I don't know if we should encourage everyone to do back bends.
Well, I'll tell you one thing not to do is don't get a teleprompter. The moment you got a teleprompter or you try to memorize a script, then you stay right here in the head the whole time. And when you speak from your head, everything is dead and you look wooden and stiff and very, very boring because you're focusing on saying the right thing and not saying the thing that you're feeling at the moment. You feel that?
Yeah, it's horrible.
And
horrible.
You're trying to do what's right by reading the script, or you're half worried, like, am I saying it right, while you're regurgitating what you memorized. What you need is the framework, like HILDA. It's a framework. You just know you go from one section to another. You just know, I got to hook them in. Okay, I got to say something about myself. I've got to, prep them for what I'm about to deliver. I got to deliver value. Now I got to ask them to do something. And then everything in between is fluid.
Yeah, I love that. Every time I've tried to read someone's bio before the podcast, it just seems like I'm reading it, obviously. But I get so worried that I'm going to miss something that I'd either been given to say about them, and it feels gross. It just feels really inauthentic. So, and you just get so worried that you're going to trip up, that then you trip up.
Yeah, it happens.
There's a couple of things I really loved about what you were saying before, about practicing and creating a safe space with some other friends. So chances are, if you're a business owner, you know other business owners, you know other people that should also be practicing with video and doing video. Like, make yourself a little power group. I love it with my group coaching program. We have a WhatsApp group, and everyone gets encouraged to do their Instagram stories or their LinkedIn stories or their lives and stuff. And to get the comfort, they just started doing them and sending them in WhatsApp. And then we just started communicating with each other by video. Like, if we have a Friday afternoons, everyone's got to, give us a recap on your Friday, and we'll give a beers cheers. So everyone's like literally clinking on cameras. And it just lowered the barrier of uncomfortability, making the unfamiliar familiar by just doing it with your friends, like with your peer group or your mastermind. So I'd say that if you're watching this, listening to this, and you need to get started, just think about it. You've probably got at least, 2 or 3 other friends that should be doing more video too, or they are doing the video and would love to support you. Just create a power group. What do you reckon, Ken?
I think that's a great idea. And also you get the accountability, right?
Yeah.
Like if you say, hey, I'm going to put out 1 video a week, can you remind me to do that? Then that's, otherwise, I don't know, you get kicked out of the group or something.
Yeah. Well, our group, because we do accountability. They set what the milestone is at the beginning of the week.
Yeah.
And on Friday we check back in. And if you're turning up to your Friday call, if you haven't done what you're supposed to do, you have to take your risk. So that can be things like, for people like me that don't eat McDonald's, we have to eat McDonald's live on the call with the group, or worse, it gets live streamed to our audience. Or one of the girls, her plan was to be able to quit her job within the 6 weeks that we were working together.
Yeah.
And actually she wanted to do it in 12 weeks, but we wanted to get her out of there as soon as possible. And she had a list of things she needed to do that didn't get done the week before. She asked if she could go double or nothing. The group decided yes. What that meant was she had to do 4 tequila shots before she went to work on the Friday, and she wasn't allowed to quit her job till the next week.
4 tequila shots. Yeah, that's going to be a fun day.
at 6 a.m.
Oh
and
man.
obviously recorded and sent to the group.
Oh. Is someone testing to make sure it's not water in the cups?
Yes, we did rate. Her partner is also in the program.
Oh,
So
okay.
he's
Okay.
ensuring
Yeah.
that it was all done. But great news was she managed to quit her job and start working full-time in her own business.
Wow.
Because the next week she was definitely not drinking tequila for breakfast. She was like, we're getting the shit done.
That reminds me of the very, very first time I stood on a stage in front of people. I was at a Tony Robbins event, and he's got this leadership course, you know, but my buddy, his name is Daryl Cully. I still remember to this day. He asked me, "What's your biggest fear?" And I said, I'm terrified of getting on stages. And this is probably like 8 years ago or 10 years ago. I can't remember. Like I've never, ever, ever stood in front of more than 5 people maybe. And he says, okay, let's get that started. I'm like, great. So I thought he's going to do some NLP, technique or something. He literally grabs my wrist and pulls me up onto the stage during this event. And I'm just like, what are you doing? He goes, look, you'll never have a more scary moment than this when you're on stage and you're not supposed to be there, and you're going to find out it's not so bad. I'm like, and he's bigger than me. Physically, I'm a small guy. And he put me on that stage, and I'm like, okay, I got it. And since then, my stage fright is just gone.
Oh, I love it. I love it. You didn't die. He was fine.
Yeah, I actually found that I love speaking in public. And I didn't know that. I would have never discovered that unless someone threw me off the deep end and made me do that.
Isn't that funny? Because weren't you the guy that brought all the biggest speakers to Japan and helped run these massive events? Wasn't that you?
So that happened before I got into that.
They give you the confidence to, in case you ever got dragged up on stage mid event.
Yeah. So it all kind of jumbled together. I was doing Tony Robbins programs, and then I met a lot of really big speakers through that, and then through that I started organizing events here in Japan and bringing them to Japan.
Let's just squirrel and change directions just a minute, because we haven't talked much about you as a person. Sure. But you did share a story with me, like that you were doing that, and it was pretty cool, and everyone would have thought that was awesome. What happened? Yeah.
So, there at one point we were actually doing the largest personal development or business seminars in Japan, like all of Japan. And it took us like 2 years to get to that point. And we're doing events on average, like 2 a month. There was some small events and then big events, like where we're having, thousands of people at a time, renting the biggest venues in all of Japan. We do that every other month, these multi-speaker style events. But here's the thing. Jim Carrey said this phrase that sticks with me. He says, everybody's been told that money doesn't bring you happiness, but give us a goddamn chance to find out for ourselves. And when I'm doing these events, and I remember that one event was, I think the value was like, a couple $1 million, and I just was sitting in the desk behind, like negotiating with the event hall organizers and vendors and, customer complaints and high maintenance speakers. And I sat there in the back, and I was about to go on stage to give the farewell speech and like, see you next time to everybody. And I asked myself, do I want to be doing this 5 years from now? And like, it came like as loud as a megaphone. It's like, fuck no. I'm putting I wasn't seeing my kids, I was barely seeing my wife. I had no life. I was stuck in offices. I was pretty much like my team was like just on the phone all day, every day, just booking, looking for booking halls, negotiating prices, selling tickets. And even though that, the brief experience of the event itself is amazing, kind of like the surf, the struggle to get there and then do it again and again and again and again, it just wasn't worth the effort. And also I didn't really enjoy it. I enjoyed the thrill of getting to a certain level, but once I reached the level, I thought, no, I'm climbing up the wrong peak. I want to get down. So I negotiated with some of my partners. We actually shut down that business. But the thing I kept was the way I filled the room was with marketing and video marketing. So I just kept what I knew about how to fill a big stadium full of people with video marketing. And I took that knowledge and I approached the speakers who came on my stage, many of which you'll know. And I asked them, would you like me to help you fill stadiums all around the world with my video marketing skills? And they said, sure. And they already knew me. I had a track record with them. So I launched my video marketing agency. So that's how I pivoted. And I love traveling and I love shooting videos. I'm Japanese, Japanese tourists and Japanese cameras, right? So, it fit right in. It must be in my blood.
I love that. And you said to me the other day, obviously because of the Rona, this is the longest you've been home in 10 years or something?
Probably. I mean, it's been almost a full year. Oh, it's March I was in Melbourne. Or the Sydney, I can't remember.
No, I didn't see you in Melbourne in March.
Oh, I must have been in the US. I was in the US then. Okay, yeah. So I was March. I actually did go to Melbourne, but not for black belt, if that's what you're talking about. I went to Melbourne, Brisbane, Sydney. I went to London, Dublin, then Florida, and a couple other places in the US. But I did this world tour visiting my clients because that's what I do. Like I show up for 2 days. I have a program called 52 and 2 where we shoot an entire year's worth of weekly videos in 2 days. We rent out a luxury condo what's that?
It sounds like hell and a dream in one.
It is. Well, we got it really organized. So it's actually quite fun. And when you're a business owner, time is such a premium. So if you could get your whole year's worth of stuff done in 2 days, and that's amazing, right? So we have, makeup artists, we have 8 different sets, 8 different clothes changes. And I'll walk you through that. That's a whole nother thing. But with Corona, obviously, so I did this, round the world thing. I used to do that once a month at least. And since March, I landed and it's been like 8 months, I guess. Yeah, it's just, I can't remember.
Are you jonesing to get back on the road, or do you like the new lifestyle?
I think that, for the first time, my company is kind of on a clear trajectory. And I'm just like, wow, this feels different. Before it's just like, because I travel so much, even though we're bringing in a lot of money, I think that building the systems within the business was a challenge because everybody was looking to me, and I wasn't present in my company enough. So that's one reason it's a newfound joy is actually installing a lot more stability in my team. Mm-hmm. More time with my family and my wife and kids. Like I didn't know what I was missing until I had to go through this. Now, I don't think I want to go back to that. I don't think so. I think there will be more traveling than there is now, but not as much as there was before. I've made a lot of tough decisions that I knew I needed to make, such as removing myself from needing to be the person who's in the middle of the business. I had to be the director in all my shoots before. Now I help people set up their home studios and I coach them on the content creation, but then all that footage just comes straight back to us. We edit it and we put it on the social media and produce it all for them. And I feel a little bit like, hey, I kind of, sometimes I feel a little bit unneeded, but then it's a good, like I should get used to that because now I am free. I mean, not completely out, but it's restructured so that I can exit, so that this business can be sold if I wanted to.
Wow. Something I just picked up you said then that I see is a really big problem with a lot of business owners. And if anyone has heard of Roger James Hamilton and his wealth dynamics profiling, a lot of business owners are creator types, or it's their baby, and there's 2 things: either the ego or the creator just feels like no one else can do it as good as them, or if you come from one of the other energies, it might be your need for significance and you don't feel like you're worthy or doing enough or whatever. You're not significant enough if you're not in it all the time. And I think that's a really big challenge that a lot of business owners need to get over to be able to crack that scale piece. Like they get capped because they keep themselves, they want to be needed, they want to be in the center of it, or they don't trust that other people can do it as good as them. And that's the blocker. That's what stops them from being able to scale and go to the next level.
Yeah, that's where I was.
So how did you get over that? Like, did you just end up going, actually, the freedom thing is way more attractive than the significance thing?
I had it in my head for a long time that I needed to make this shift. And it was survival, because my clients, like I said earlier, in my video marketing agency were mostly in live events. And the live events were the first industry to get crushed by Corona. And a lot of these guys had paid for venues 18 months in advance, hired speakers, like they put out a lot of money. A few of them went bankrupt. All of them had to like slash costs drastically. So my cash flow for 2020 was like, I think we went off a cliff, like 80% down from the previous year.
I didn't even have a home when all that happened, because I was booked to travel the world for the year speaking. So I was about to jump on a plane, go to KL for a week and speak at Mind Valley, training their team. Then I was in Bali for 7 weeks doing a run. And then I was back for a quick turnaround, running 2 events for Mind Valley, then Costa Rica, and then Amsterdam.
You had it all booked already?
Oh yeah, all booked. I didn't even have a home. Like That's
why you're working out of the van now.
That's why I just bought my tiny home, and it was meant to be my home in between trips, because I was only ever home maximum 4 weeks. And so that was going to be my own space that I had, and my office that I could use when I was in between, because I felt really gypsy before, like coming and going, not having my own space all the time. And that's why I was building the van. Lucky I didn't need to visit the van's not even finished yet. I have a home, thank God. But literally, I didn't even have a website or anything. Like everything gone. Every way I got my clients, like all my paid gigs.
Yeah.
Not a home. Didn't own couches or things like that. I'd sold all of that when I decided to go nomad.
Did you still have a surfboard though? I mean, that's the important thing, right?
I had the surfboards because when I traveled, I used my surfboard bag as a suitcase. And so last year, what I would do is I'd come in from Bali. I had a couple of times where I was only like a 36-hour turnaround in Australia. I'd come in from Bali with my board bag, switch out my board bag for a suitcase, and then go to Europe. And then sometimes someone would bring me a board bag, or I'd come back through, do a really quick turnaround on the way back. Often I had to do that for insurance anyway, because it could only be out of the country for 3 months at a time. So I'd come back in, switch out suitcase and all the European clothes, switch into surfboard bag, back to Bali. Yeah. So I still had those. Well,
good. That's what's important, right? The boards.
The boards. They were the most important thing, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I know that you also had to make a slight pivot with the business.
Yeah, major pivot.
So where's the blessing in that?
Oh my God, in every direction. The number one, the relationship we have with our clients is much better than it used to be. Meaning that we used to get people on 1-year contracts, and I'll tell you what, it doesn't make you fight as hard to keep clients happy. Then if you switch to month by month, then all of a sudden your product and your service needs to be so much better in order to get that monthly paycheck. And we've just improved the process and the service communication across every single level. The blessing is also that I relaunched. That means I revamped and relaunched something called Video Ninja Secrets, which is my 6-week course that just gets people jump started on video marketing. Like, this is for people who haven't started getting leads or sales with video yet, or they did and they want to accelerate that process. And I show them exactly how to structure everything without buying any special software like ClickFunnels or stuff like that. No website, just video and social media and a phone, and start making money. So that I show up, and that course is it's actually been quite a hit. People love it. They go through it, and I'm just about to interview somebody else who's about to tell me how she got closer to her first 3 clients just last week, actually. So it's that wouldn't have happened unless I actually sat down and stayed home and actually built all this stuff out. So yeah, a lot of blessings.
I love it. And I think there's a lot of people that are in our groups that this is, for me especially, it's been a blessing as well, because it's forced me to do the things that I didn't do before and create those more scalable items and the systems and processes to be able to leverage. A curly one for you. What's one thing you wish you did do during Corona and before borders open and the world goes back to not normal, but more before you're allowed to get on a plane again freely?
You know, we moved houses during Corona, and because we're working from home and I needed my own office, my wife needed her office, all the kids are getting bigger, they wanted their own rooms. I think that I want to right now, everything behind me looks great, but I'm telling you, what's in front of me is a mess because we moved and I never really set things up how I wanted, but I knew that on camera I had to look good. So that side of the room looks nice. This side of the room is like it's a desk with clutter everywhere. So I actually want what I'm looking at every day, not what my client, but I actually want to do this office properly. And I think we've just been on so much go mode that this has been kind of marginalized, like making my workspace feel inspiring to me. Mm-hmm. And I want to work on that.
Okay, action item then. This is me with my fluffy baseball bat. When are you going to get it done by?
Let's see. I'm just making a checklist for what needs to get done. Before the end of January, for sure.
Beautiful. So by the end of January,
yeah, you're going to see.
Ken's going to find this post, and when the podcast comes out, and he's going to put a video. Yeah.
Well, actually, I'm going to have another camera here where you're going to be able to see a wide angle of all this side, and then I'm going to be doing multi-camera, type of stuff. So it has to look good. And that's the pressure I put on myself to make things look good. It's like, okay, you're on camera, make it look good.
Okay, so I think the risk should be, if it's not done by January 31, you've got to set up the camera and shoot anyway.
Sure, done. Handshake through the lens. There we go.
Love it, love it. I know that you've got something else to share with us. What's the last thing to share? I'll give you a hint. Well, your group.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. I do have a free group, and I guess Jade, you'll put the link below, www.getleadswithvideo.com. And this group is really just for people who are looking for a community plus tons of free training on the mindset around video, the tech around video, the tips and tricks around video, and specifically video that is designed to generate leads and conversions on social media. So if you're looking to get into a community like that, get inside. I have 3 simple questions I ask just so that I know how I can help people more. Get inside the group. I think you'll love it. And once you're in, I want to greet you personally. So click the link below. I believe there is a link. Is there?
The link's already on Facebook, and it will be everywhere you see or hear this podcast.
Yeah.
We'll make sure it's in the show notes for sure. Super easy. I just recently joined the group and I can already see a lot of value from it. And like I said, I just watched one of your tutorials and I'm going to be able to do the drawing on the screen.
Click. You see, here we go. Here's a call to action. Click.
Yeah. Click. Yeah. I love it. Yeah. Beautiful. Is there any other parting words of wisdom that you'd like to leave with our tribe today, Ken? Is there anything I've missed?
I don't think you missed anything, but if I were to say one thing about video, it's this. Are there boundaries for is there?
Boundaries, yeah.
Okay.
I don't do boundaries. I'm not great with them.
If you haven't shot a video yet, when you pop your cherry, it can be painful. But every time you do it after that, it keeps getting better. That's what I got to say. Do it more.
I am loving this. What I would love is when the podcast goes live, I'd love anyone that's listening that's popped their cherry to pop a cherry in the comments.
Oh yeah, in the emoji. Yeah.
Little cherry emoji. If you're someone that does video all of the time, I'd love you to challenge you to do a HILDA video cherry pop. So just put Hilda and then a cherry so that we know that you guys are taking action on this shit.
Awesome. Thank you, Jade. I enjoyed that so much. And
I have loved it. I
me on the
can't
show.
thank you enough for sharing. I know that is content and actual strategy that you don't give away for free. That is really high value, and I really appreciate it. And I think it's something that my tribe will definitely need and can use. Guys, make sure you click the link and head over to Ken's free group because it is super high value. And I love to see you guys there. Hey there, barrel chasing business owners. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of the show. What I would love for you to do, if you feel like you got any value or entertainment out of this episode at all, is to leave us a 5-star review and comment below so that we can share the message and impact as many business owners like you as possible. Thanks.